Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, certain things are stereotypes for a reason. Certain age-old sayings are true throughout generations. They never seem to change. They seem accurate across different cultures across the globe. At the end of the day, it boils down to human nature. And the one specifically that we have to tackle today, this specific quote is attributed to Winston Churchill. If you are not a liberal when you are young, you have no heart. If you are not a conservative when old, you have no brain. Some people say that Winston Churchill said it, some people said that he didn't, whatever, doesn't really matter. The point is, this quote is incredibly accurate. And the one thing that I'm always saying about these young liberal ideologues is that they always form these grand opinions and push these big definitive statements about the world and about economic and fiscal policy and general financial policy, but pretty much none of them have even filed taxes, not even for a year. And of course, that's the thing. Once you actually get to work, once you start a business, and then on top of that, once you start a family and have to juggle all of those things, your perspective starts to change a little bit. And we're seeing this actually in real time. We all know who David Hogg is, the famous, or some may say infamous, leftist socialist activist, who many liberals view as a social justice hero, and many other people who view as a grifter who's just trying to personally benefit off the tragedy of others. Whatever you want to call him, he's a prominent leftist with a big Twitter following. And most recently, Mr. David Hogg seems to have had an awakening moment, an epiphany moment, so to speak. After starting his first business, after going through all the red tape and all the regulations and all the bureaucracy, big government socialist David Hogg is here on Twitter, going on a massive Twitter spree, a massive Twitter rant, complaining how ineffective government is, how overly complicated and laborious and tedious all the red tape and regulation is, and honestly, maybe in a moment of enlightenment, or maybe in a moment of total lack of self-awareness, leftist socialist activist David Hogg actually seems to make sense for once. Maybe this young, lost liberal generation is going to follow the exact same path of every other generation before it, go from woke to broke to common sense conservative adult. But let me show you guys this little event that happened on Twitter the other day. We gotta have fun with this one, but of course, before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this piece from The Blaze. Failed, quote, progressive pillow guy David Hogg embarrasses himself in accidental pro-capitalism moment. Remember when Harvard's progressive prodigy David Hogg tried to launch a pillow company with entrepreneur William Legate to show that terrible Trump-supporting pillow guy Mike Lindell how to, quote, make a better pillow, run a better business, and help the world be a better place while doing it? David Hogg writes on Twitter, at William Legate and I are going to prove that progressives can make a better pillow, run a better business, and help make the world a better place while doing it. Mike, the, quote, my pillow guy, is commenting on his soon-to-be progressive competition in the form of a progressive pillow company at William Legate and I are starting. The pillow fight just got very real. Just a few months later, however, Hogg threw in the towel on his pillow-making match with Lindell. Effective immediately, I have resigned and released all shares, any ownership, and any control of Good Pillow LLC. I want to thank Will for his partnership and wish him absolutely nothing but success with the future of Good Pillow. Not so easy now, is it? The same idealistic trap that liberals seem to catch themselves in every single time. Oh, I'm an evil capitalist. Why can't you pay everyone $50 an hour, plus benefits and everything else? Free lunch and free dinner and free daycare. And you should also now be forced to pay thousands of dollars for all travel costs and medical fees associated with out-of-state abortions. It sounds nice, it warms the heart, but again, it's not realistic. Do you know how hard it is to start a company from nothing? And especially, do you know how hard it is to start a company when you have this massive tax burden over your shoulders? You have to provide a certain standard of living for your employees, certain benefits on top of all of the regulations, and then not to mention the infrastructure, the location, the space, and the machinery that you need, which gets more and more expensive considering all of the real estate manipulation going on, especially in Democrat cities, making it so expensive just to get a place. Well, it seems like David Hogg might have actually woken up. We'll show you, Mr. My Pillow Guy, how easy it is and how much better us progressives can run a business while making the world a better place and creating a better environment for our employees. That was the initial statement from David Hogg. Then all of a sudden, fast forward to April 24th, 2022, I'm working on setting up an LLC right now, and this whole process is stupidly complicated and expensive. The government should be making it easy for people to start companies, not hard. Also, there shouldn't be this many regulations and paperwork to work across state lines. Luckily, I made enough money from previous clients. I worked for a 1099 to fund this, but I can already see why there are so many people who can go beyond this LLC phase. What I think what he meant was who can't go beyond this LLC phase. We're losing market competition and innovation because of this system to keep things complicated, to A, stop completion, and B, keep lawyers and CPAs employed. All of the above hurts consumers and keeps prices high, all of which hurts social mobility, innovation, and the economy. Oh my god, no way! I mean, that is a wake up moment. People are constantly talking about upward mobility and how it's so difficult and blaming it on evil capitalism and the evil corporate billionaires. No, you know what makes it hard to start a business? The barrier to entry. There's a whole lot of people who want to start businesses, but it's too expensive, it's too complicated, and they just can't get in the game. And this coming from a guy who brands himself as a socialist, a man who does little videos from what seems to be his college dorm with literal Soviet Communist Party propaganda artwork on the wall behind him. It's too expensive and my government makes it too complicated. Yeah, that's literally the point. That's exactly what conservatives have been saying and have been arguing for literal decades. The government is getting too involved, too big, and is putting their greedy hands everywhere for exactly what you said, for CPAs and lawyers to continue their racket. And then on top of that, to grease the hands of all the politicians and politically connected elite who are taking their cut as well. Problem isn't capitalism, the problem is crony capitalism and crony socialism. David Hogg got absolutely roasted all over Twitter following this tweet, or this series of tweets. Jason Jones writes, "You're about to get dragged hard, sport." Michael Rechtenwald writes, "Thank the party you patronize for exactly that." Sean Maloney Zero writes, "Government, stupidly complicated and expensive, indeed. Being plundered by government plunderers is the price one pays for allowing government to become powerful." Tim Reeder writes, "Is this the idiot that was going to take out the My Pillow guy?" Carl Dickey writes, "I'm working on getting a gun and the whole process is stupidly complicated and expensive. The government should be making it easy for people to buy and carry a gun like the Second Amendment says, not hard. Also, there shouldn't be this many regulations and paperwork to carry across state lines." Jeff Dobbs releases this meme. And the list goes on and on. D. Faber84 writes, "It's always beautiful to witness the birth of a Republican. And really, this is the distinction that I make. If you grow up and your brain develops properly, you become a Republican. At least a moderate and a common sense thinker. If you grow up to be an unhinged, crazed leftist, a leftist ideologue with completely incoherent policy positions, then either you become a mainstream journalist, a Twitter activist, or part of the vote blue no matter who crowd, with all kind of trendy emojis and flags in your Twitter handle and all the trendy political virtue signaling in your Twitter bio. And these people fit a specific archetype, the naive liberal who doesn't understand anything but wants to solve the world's problems. We see this all the time. We all remember this classic from the 2020 election or the 2019 Democrat primaries.
But you see it as a possibility if he wants to spend $1 billion beating this guy, he could do it.
Absolutely. Somebody tweeted recently that actually with the money he spent, he could have given every American $1 million.
I've got it. Let's put it up on the screen. When I read it tonight on social media, it kind of all became clear. Bloomberg spent $500 million on ads. U.S. population, 327 million. Don't tell us if you're ahead of us on the math. He could have given each American $1 million and have had lunch money left over. It's an incredible way of putting it.
It's an incredible way of putting it. It's true. It's disturbing. It does suggest what we're talking about here, which is there's too much money in politics. And it makes it difficult because what we want in...
Yes, according to an editorial board member from the New York Times, the $300 million that Bloomberg spent on ads during the primary season could have solved poverty in America, really puts it into perspective. And you have two what are supposed to be serious journalists on MSNBC who can't even do basic math. Yes, $300 million equals $1 million per person, not $1 per person. I mean, we're talking about grade school level stuff. We all remember just the other day, a lady on The View claiming that Elon Musk's $40 billion purchase of Twitter Inc. could have solved world hunger.
He's absolutely not. Because if you have $44 billion and you use it to buy Twitter, you make bad decisions. Yeah. We have all the information we need. Right. $44 billion. We did it. I mean,
but he
put
doesn't know hunger. But he doesn't know what to do with. It's the same as that chain.
Yes, of course. Or the most recent trend, showing up with fabulous designer statements at the Met Gala to solve systemic cultural issues. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wearing her Tax the Rich outfit at the Met Gala, rich people BTFO'd with her sassy dress, and poverty solved. Then we have recently elected Mayor of New York Eric Adams with his End Gun Violence tuxedo, gun and gang violence BTFO'd. These people are uneducated, or they are overly educated children who never grow up, and it's really simple, folks. And at the end of the day, folks, it all boils down to one specific quote: who is not liberal when young does not have a heart. Who is not conservative when old does not have a brain. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.